Welcome, one and all. Here we are again. I'm doing a little super quick morning pre-work stream. I actually streamed the first part of this painting a couple days ago, but I screwed up the video a little bit. I'm going to edit and re-upload it. So ironically, if anybody sees this, it'll probably be their first experience with this painting is part 2. Anywho, I have about an hour to kill before I have to be at work, and I figured I've been up for hours. I might as well do something useful with it. Otherwise, this day is gonna feel really, really long. So I went out last night, and in typical artist fashion, spent way too much money. But I bought a bunch of new brushes. I like my old busted, beat up. I mean, look at that dude. It came straight out of my paint can. That dude's pretty hammered, but I love hammered brushes. Hammered brushes are fantastic. I never throw brushes away. Even if the bristles are toast and you can't make a stroke with them, you can always use the stick for something else. You can always use it to mix medium or something. I almost never throw brushes away. So there's a little bit of bushy tail on the end of it. It's good to work. So yeah, it's kind of shocking. I have to say, I'm using Lucas oils mostly mixed with some Winsor & Newtons, and I'm also working on Masonite, which I did seal. But regardless of that fact, I think it's because it's on Masonite, and I work on Masonite a lot. But I work on canvas a lot. I work on whatever. But I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with how fast this thing dried. I mean, there's some pretty thick strokes in here, and I mean, sure, it'll probably take a couple months for them to really, really dry up, but yeah, it's good to work on, so it should be fine. Anywho, I'm not going to mess around too much. Hopefully, I can keep my stream up and bring up my photo reference at the same time. Hopefully, that won't mess with you guys. So I do have a photo reference I'm using for this piece. Apparently, I don't have it actually up. Yeah, we should still be going, huh? Only a few minutes into this. I'm probably only going to stream for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. But in an hour, we should be able to fill in a decent amount of real estate. So, and I'm just streaming directly from my web camera right now. Hopefully that'll work. So, hopefully my audio is recording. Hello? Yeah, it should be. Usually I go through OBS, but I'm going to have to change some things with my settings. So I'm just going straight through YouTube Studio right now. That should be okay for reference. And I can still see my stream up. And I have some really bad, club music rocking in the background here. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and if not, then I guess this will be a silent stream. No big deal. So, and if you can't hear me, because I had to mess around, and there's a good chance you might not be able to, just because I had to really mess around in OBS to get my audio to work. So going straight through YouTube Studio, I'm not sure it's going to work or not. So, okay, well, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to start, but I think I'll start in the sky. I'm making up a lot of this image. I mentioned before, I mean, I always warp. If I do use photo reference, I use only pretty roughly anyway. But the original photo reference for this image is like maybe this much of the image. The rest of it I've pretty much kind of invented, so it's kind of fun. I always enjoy that. Grabbing a big old brush right off the bat. Might as well get brave. I didn't even plan on grabbing this brush. I just did it. It'll work. And I'll probably have a couple going, a couple brushes, so I can have a warm brush and a cool color brush. So basically all my cool colors, anything from blue to purple or greens with one. And I mean, I might load up several brushes, I'm not sure. I have several set up. One of the goals I'm trying to do here with this piece is to, well, I'm carving light out of the darkness, basically. I did a mid-tone on this piece when I initially started it. And it just makes all the light look like magic. I'm just trying to refine some of my shapes here, because I had already come in through here. Slowly, I'm going to build up this glow a little more. I have a little dirty color where there should be a lot of light, so that's why I'm working here first. Be a little too bright. Didn't really mean to go in with white. It's not white, it's yellow, but it looks really white against this surface. It's a little better. And normally, I'm a flurry of action when I paint. I usually have a lot of things going at once, both hands going or whatever. But and I'm sure we'll do plenty of streams like that. We'll post plenty of videos of me doing that sort of thing. But I'm honestly finding the slower, more diligent approach a lot more efficient lately. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Just warming up my yellow there with a touch of Cad Red. So even though I am using a photo reference, I really am inventing a lot of this because I am doing Impressionism. So each stroke is kind of a little bit of light hitting this world here. And honestly, there's certain little areas I think that are always a little difficult. Like I have these two areas coming together, so I have basically a complementary color to this yellow, which is purple, coming into it, and then blue coming into this orange, which is complementary to this orange over here. So I'm going to have to learn how to make these play nice. I haven't really decided how I'm going to do that yet. It'll just probably happen as it happens. Adding a little bit more warmth to my. I have some kind of little staccato, little tappy brush strokes in here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Might have to start changing my direction on my strokes. Oh no, I always just kind of figure it out as I go along. This could be another hill or mountain right here. Well, there already is. As you can see, just try and carve them out from the background a little bit more. I'm gonna have trees on this eventually, or at least the impression of trees. Then I have this nice little glow I started over here. We're gonna enhance. It's gonna be cutting through this hill. It's gonna make it look blown out. This is the area closest to the light, which in this case is a sunset. My favorite light source, unquestionably. The big glowy ball in the sky that we all worship. All right, I say that jokingly, of course. It's not a bad transition through here into this purple. It plays well. I'm actually it's funny, I'm kind of just more refining than creating anything new at this point, but I think I will. This area's been bugging me because that's where I stopped my last stream. So let's go into that area. Grab a little bit of quinacridone magenta. Go back into my... I really find that, well, I'm using primaries here, so... Primaries in the Lucas brand, anywho. There we go, that's pretty. I don't want to overmix my paint. I kind of like the surprise of maybe getting a little bit of variation in it. There we go. Oh, that's a pretty hot color. Oh yeah, it's nuclear, as I like to say. Burn your eyeballs, right? Nothing I love more than a lot of rich color contrast. And I like that color. I'm going to try and use some of it over on this other edge, a little bit here and there, right where this warm. Oh yeah, that was nice. That was a nice addition. So I have a bit of my underpainting showing through here, which is fine. I'm going to let a little bit of it show through. Helps create separation between the strokes. There we go. That looks okay. I just wanted a little hint of it over here. Good idea to use repetition of color wherever you can. Helps hold the entire image together. I'll probably have to come in here in this into this mountain at some point and add a little bit more orange to it. All right, back to where we were. Lost my focus there. I don't want it to look too samey, so I am going to be, you'll see me adding a little bit of variation to this here and there. Ooh, that's very Magneta. I'm also trying to create flow, sweep with my strokes. Yeah, I'm trying to get it more Magneta towards the top because it's transitioning into a purple anyway. That's pretty orangey. Go back into some more Magneta here. Throw a little bit more yellow into it. Just had to throw a little bit more paint out to get going here. Whenever I'm finger painting or painting or in this case, just using a brush to paint more impressionistically, I tend to chew up a lot of paint. So if I have to stop for a second to throw out a little bit of fresh stuff, bear with me. Honestly, I'm, again, not the most entertaining today. I really did not sleep well. Woke up way too early, about 5 hours before I had to be anywhere today. Which I'm going to my job here shortly. 9:47. Yeah, I have to be. Well, it's 9:47 here on the west coast of the U.S., specifically in Nevada. That's where I'm at, and pretty soon, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave. I have to be at work at around 11. I thought I'd play a little bit since I didn't think going back to sleep was going to happen. So, figure might as well use our time well. That's what I like to say a lot. Try and use your time well. Whatever time you have. I try most of the time, but sometimes doesn't happen. Sometimes we all have to be a little bit lazy, bored. Oh, that's a beautiful color right there. I really like that one. It's funny. My reference is just fallen by the wayside. I'm hardly even paying attention to it at this point. I'll reference it more when I started getting into some more details and placement of trees and things of that nature, because I'll be honest, I am not always the best at how I place natural objects in my scenes. I often feel that my compositions end up looking a little artificial. That's why I'm using a little bit of reference this time for this piece. Not my usual thing, but it has sped the process up like exponentially. When I have to make up things and overthink it, and then end up inevitably not liking it later, then I have to go back and redo it, rebuild that area, and it gets a little tiring. I'm getting over it. So, ooh, that's I'm trying to throw some life into it. This is a fog bank actually rolling in here. And it's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to, I think, really look foggy to your hair for, heavy impressionistic brushstrokes. But it'll look a lot better as I build it up. Just trying a little bit more life into some of these colors here. Ooh, that was really bright. That one. And in fact, it should. One of the best blending tools you have, especially when you're working this way, is your fingers. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I should have more yellow light reflecting off of this, and I'm going to. You can see I have a hint of it in here, and I'm going to warm this up a little bit. Sorry about that, everyone. I should have shut the volume off on my phone. I usually do. Shit, it's early. Forgive me. I'm sure how I feel about that transition. I think I need a lot more orange in this area through here. I think I'll start warming it up a little. Maybe bump it up a little more. It's definitely about half the time I'm working, I'm mixing. Well, not half the time, but I'm mixing new colors a lot. These colors are cool, but I think they might be a little too much. Is it ever too much, though? Really? I don't know if it can be too much. I'm not sure. Overdoing it much. Trying to build intensity up here, and as it gets closer to the horizon, I'm trying to fade it out and make it a little bit more pastel. Really trying to get a good color range between pastel and something I've really tried to work on over the years. It's something I really like about female artists' work is that they're, well, usually, in my opinion, a lot better with color than male artists are. Because from what I understand, women actually have more color receptors in their eyes than men do. Something like 50% of men are colorblind. I say that a lot, but apparently it's true, my brother included. So I got lucky. I actually, as far as I can tell, I can see color fairly decently. But I find that male artists tend to favor very heavily saturated or actually the reverse or more monotone washed out color schemes in their works. But tend to lack in a little bit of subtlety. Where I think of a lot of female impressionists who I follow or who I have followed their work tends to have a lot more pastel in it. Women tend to like a lot more pastel colors, and I trying to appeal to that because that really appeals to me. I really enjoy that. So I think I'll use this lighter tone that I have over here, this like little pinky tone over here to help pop this out a little. It's actually pretty close to color that's already there. It's helping a little. Actually, I cut back into this mountain when it was still wet with some good old Q-tips. Find those an incredibly useful painting tool. I use them all the time. Good for edge control, good for wiping out, good for all kinds of stuff. I'm just feathering this edge a little bit. Yeah, I have my impressionistic-y heavy strokes here, but I'm also trying to make this edge of the mountain kind of live with it a little better. I think I got a little too white on some of these tones. So on my way home from work yesterday, I got lucky and caught a really good sunset. So probably use that reference that I took for another piece. I'm gearing up for a solo show. I believe it's a solo show. in September at a new gallery in Reno, and that's fun. Um, but I like to use shows, regardless of what sells. It's a good way of building inventory. It puts that goal out there that I mean, regardless if I sell anything, I'll have a whole bunch of new work, um, and then while that show is going on, it's not like I'm sitting on my butt. I'll be creating even more new work. And my point is that whatever from that show that doesn't sell will still be fairly new work, and then I can just start hopefully running a bunch of shows. Right after that, just a little highlight on some of these hills here. It's not even in the reference image at all. I'm just messing around. I'm barely even paying attention to my reference at all, to be honest. I'm actually more just kind of like instinctively going through here and trying to make my colors play nice and refining certain areas and expanding out. Yeah. I'm thinking about the ring or band of Venus, which is basically the redshift you see in the sky in the early morning and evening as the sun setting or rising. All right. I think I'll start throwing a little bit more light up in here. I have all these nice dark kind of purples in here, and they're really just setting the basis for what I'm going to do next, which is going to be actually, I don't know. I was going to throw a little yellow into it. Yeah, I will. Peach it up just a touch. Just using a little tiny bit. And probably have to add more. And try and brighten the sky up a little. Yeah, it's a little too pink. Let's add a little bit more yellow. Let's try that. That's a little better. I like that. I'll play well for a minute. Give that a shot. I actually changed my stroke on these. I don't know. Start going that direction a little bit. Because the shape of these strokes are conflicting. They're coming into each other. So there we go. Now I'm making that transition into between these areas. It's working pretty well. There we go. I'm sorry, just making this up as we go along here. Trying to leave separation between my strokes a little bit so that you can see the individual stroke. It's nice. This is brightening this image up quite a bit. I try and suck as much light. I mean, you need dark. You need dark. I always say this. You always need a little dirt in the sauce, but you always need a little something for the light to bounce off of. However, this entire area of the sky in the reference image is very pastel. So I'm going to keep building this up layer by layer till it looks like how I want it to look. It's hard to be entertaining here doing one little stroke at a time and trying to explain why I'm doing it. But like if I was finger painting and using rags and my full Monty, my full bag of tricks, it would probably be a little bit more fun to watch. But honestly, I'm having fun doing it this way right now. So that's why I'm doing it this way right now. And it's a lot less messy. I always keep painter wipes around. Those are quite handy. All right, I'm going to brighten this up even more. Just throw a little bright red in here. And then I put a bunch of purple and blue in here, but that was really just to create separation between these warmer colors that I'm throwing in. Most of that's going to go bye-bye. It is going bye-bye right now. I really like that more vibrant warm color I just mixed up, but I pretty much ran out of it instantly. Only made up a very small amount. All right. A little radical here. Let's just throw this crazy color in here and see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I don't know that I'm going to leave it, but I just felt like doing it. It looked pretty on my palette. So go. That's nice. Nice color there. Build up to that other color I've got up there. Even though I am using a reference, it's more just to keep me from it's compositionally getting artificial feeling, like I was talking about earlier, because most of this I'm just making up. I'm chasing more of a feeling than an actual image that I'm trying to get to. Celebrating a little bit of life and light here. I'm letting this brush float and break over these other heavier strokes. Gives a kind of a greenish look when you get up close on it, which I kind of like sometimes for transitions. Pulling this more saturated pink that I made down back into this right here. Trying to get rid of some of this green and blue that I have in the sky here. There we go. Just trying to make it a little smoother looking. Each stroke, it's getting there. There we are. That looks pretty okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with this area yet. Not really sure. I think it's going to go pretty heavy on the purple. Let's make some notes. Grab a little blue, throwing it into my Magneta. Mixing up a purple. I think I need to throw some white in so I can see what it looks like. There we go. It's not too shabby. Throw a lot more white into it. I'm referencing my image. I'm going to throw a little bit of black into it. There we go. Helps desaturate it a little, which I want it to be a little bit. That's a little too. Actually, it's great for right here. So I'll lay this. That isn't the color I really wanted. It's okay. It's great for right through this area. So I'm going to use it where I'm not going to work hard to correct it when I already just made up a color that accidentally just works well in another area. So I'll use it in that area, and then I'll transition and I'll change it here in a minute. That worked great for this little in-between area anyway. I should go back over in here and fill this back in a little bit more. Yeah, see, that purple really jumped right there, and I don't know that I want it there. I think I want to keep it more blue, but I just throw a little hint in there. There we go. It's actually kind of nice. It makes that it's a warmer cool against a cooler cool, if that makes any sense. So it makes that kind of blue look more blue by putting a little bit of pink next to it. It's a good trick. But you have to be careful with stuff like that. You don't want to do that everywhere. And you don't want to do it too heavily because it'll just end up making the entire image look really muddy. It doesn't matter how bright of colors you're using. If you mix every color in existence and throw it all up on this board, it's going to turn gray. Oh yeah, I have a little rose down here, a little Winsor & Newton rose. There we go. Throw a little of that in there. Nice. Like I said, I'm trying to probably go. Ooh, whoops! I dug into a. Didn't mean to do that. Dug into a little bit of a yellow that I didn't know was right there. And in fact, if I want to calm this down a little bit, my purple color, I just add a little yellow to it. It's complementary color to purple, so it's always a good trick. It's good to know your complementaries, cross complementaries, all that. Yeah, it's looking pretty okay. I want to orange this up a little bit more through here. It'll be a process. Not even a little bit. I want it to orange up a lot a bit more through here. Trying to pull some of this blue out. Replace it with this orange. It works. It works. It works. It works. I think. The ultimate test of your own art theory, and if something works, is if somebody buys it. So, stating quite the obvious here, but it's true. That's kind of an odd color to throw in there, but he's had this one big yellow blob here, and it's cool. It looks nice. I just need a reason for it to play with all the other colors that are next to it. Should probably go around it, break it up a little. Yeah. I'm getting a little too obsessive with like my little transitions here instead of filling in more surface. I'll go back to doing that. Made a nice color. Do a little hook-shaped strokes now. Maybe those would be clouds. Checking my time. Making sure everything's still driving. All right. 10:15. Wow, that's such a bright color. At least I guess dark blue it is. Well, we have so many colors going now. It'd make a peacock jealous. Okay. It's kind of my thing. I don't know. I just fucking love color. I'm gonna apologize for it. It's like something. I don't know. I've become a real colorist as I've gotten older. My work, for better or worse, but it's generally, well, it's an old saying in art that the most, well, to put it this way, it's the basic concept is that the most important factor to selling a painting or making that thing appeal to somebody isn't subject matter or story or philosophy or composition. Sure, it can be a combination of all of those things, but But really, I'll move my reference a little bit. I'm barely even looking at it anyway. Oh, whoops. Just moving stuff around on my desktop. Um, yeah, I'd say the color is by far the most important factor in selling a painting, which I can speak to personally. A lot of my big paintings I've sold, my really big stuff, was based on color because I mean the customer, the customers always tell me, "Wow, look at all those colors." Yeah. All right. It's not looking too horrible. I have a feeling this is going to be a really long day. All right. It already seems like it has been. Actually, I want to go with this rose color maybe. Trying to figure out how to even make it brighter. Case in point. Similar to the strokes next to it, but it is quite a bit more saturated. So I'm creating the effect of almost making my brush strokes look three-dimensional by, well, they are three-dimensional. They're fairly impasto. I mean, they're somewhat raised above the surface. You can see the brush stroke. The bristles in the brush stroke. The fingerprints of the brush basically being left in every stroke. Taking a step back for a second, probably grab my Acer right here and give you guys some special effects. I've been reducing my nicotine intake quite a bit lately, and it hasn't even really been intentional. I mean, I've been wanting to quit vaping for a while, but it's like weird. It's just instinctual lately. I think I make my own oil for my e-cigarette, and my last batch I made pretty weak on the nicotine level, and I think my body's just starting to finally give it up. Because even when I go out on my breaks at work, I'll have like, your typical 210s in the lunch hour. I sometimes forget to even smoke. Like yesterday, it happened to me a couple times when I'd go out on break, and then I'd be, oh, gee, I have to go back in. And then I realized I hadn't even taken a puff off the sucker. It's kind of nice. I'd say I'm becoming like a landscape expressionist, if that makes any sense. I just made that up. Just a combination of two. very separate genres in art, but really I am becoming more expressionist. I think that's. I guess I've always been a little bit expressionist in my work, but especially my dark work. But the older I get, the more I just feel like creating a feeling or expression in my work, and not so much an image, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Here we are, we're kissing the sky. Came all the way up to the edge. This foreground's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get into this area. Start working on these flowers and throwing the trees in and the grass. That'll be a great time. I can't wait. We'll be working on that probably next. Maybe I'll move over to here for the rest of the stream. I don't have a whole lot of time left, maybe 10 minutes. And then I think I'll cut it. I hope you guys can hear me because I have my doubts. This might just be a silent stream. It's okay. I haven't been overly talkative or informative in this one anyway. Just clean my brush out a little bit. I'm going to go into some blues, actually. Start working on my blues for a while because I have been neglecting this side. This side needs a lot of work. It needs as much as I got further on this side as far as laying it in the other evening, but it's a little messier. I'm using a French ultramarine with a little bit of white in it. It's kind of a warm blue. And into this orange. Blue and orange kind of cancel each other out, so that's a hard transition to get right. I mean, they make each other gray, so trying to do this gracefully isn't the easiest thing in the world. I think I'll throw a little bit of the cyan dried up on me pretty quick. I didn't put any cyan out today, and just reached into what was sitting here from a couple days ago, and it's pretty thick, pretty soupy. Ooh. I don't know that I like that blue, honestly. It's a little maybe too blue. Maybe up through here. I'll put this in here. I didn't like it down there. That didn't work so well. I think I'll leave it up here, maybe, if I'm going to use it at all. Because in this reference image, this is probably where the bluest part of the entire painting is. And I like that. It's adding a little life to these darker colors in the sky. They are a little bit oppressive. But like I said, you need a little dark for the light to shine off of. So yeah, painting clouds this way is a little tricky. I would probably normally do this differently. If I was painting my typical like finger painting style, I'd probably be a little bit more literal with the clouds in terms of actually trying to represent them and make them look cloudy. But right now, I'm really not. I really don't care. I'm more focused on color and flow and composition than I am making clouds look like clouds. Well, in fact, I'm not even painting clouds right now. It's funny. I'm painting the sky in between. That helped a little bit. It helped to pull. It made this purple look a lot more purple, putting these more saturated blues in over here, and it also livened up this side of the image quite a bit because it was looking a little dull over there. Just like that side of the painting went on vacation. Hopefully the music isn't too annoying. I'm really just using it to fill in some, some of the quiet when I get quiet. Because I'm pretty focused. It's, trying to be anyway. I'm glad I came over here and started working on this side. It's good to, it's something I'm trying to get better at. And I talk about this a lot. I used to be horrible. I used to just focus on one area of a painting for a really long time. Then it would get really stiff and the painting would never get finished because I wouldn't know how to translate that really stiff technical area into wanting to paint the entire rest of the image that way. Like, I would get the inspiration out in that one little area and then just be like, fuck, do I really want to do this on this whole painting? Yeah. Now I'm quite a bit more loosey-goosey. Make a color note here, make a color note there, and then move. Try to build the image up somewhat equally. A little bit anyway. I think when these colors dried, they got a little dark. All right. Like they got sunk in, like into the canvas a little bit. Blue is probably a bad thing to add there, but I kind of wanted to. I don't know why. It looks really good there too. I'm just going to leave that hint of it there. That's it. I'm not going to go any further with it. I just liked it. It just felt instinctive. For me, it's more about creating a big color mess, harmony, rather, but there we go. Starting to look okay. I think I need to put some warmer color over here, actually. And then go into this and warm this. Just blues up a little. There we go. That's a nice little lavendery color. There we go. That's nice. Because in my reference image, these are really bands of clouds with sky showing in between. I'm not really representing that very well. And nor do I think I really care. But if I am going to use a reference, I might as well try and pay a little bit of attention to it, I suppose. Man, that went orange. I must have dug into another color I didn't see there. Just taking a hint, throwing that back in my blue there. I made a nice purple. Going back in over here. And there we go. Drawing a hint of that bandy effect I was talking about. It's like when you get clouds that look like waves, basically. Which you tend to find in mountain ranges. It's a pretty common thing because mountains are, they're sticking up into the atmosphere and they create pressure waves as the atmosphere moves over them. And it chops the clouds into rows or waves, depending on how you want to look at it. And here we call it the Sierra wave effect in the Sierra Mountains in California and Nevada and yeah. So over here on this side, I'm noticing that my reference, this orange transitions into more of a purple and then goes into blue. Never really noticed that. I have this really light kind of blue color, greenish color in here. I don't know if I want to kill it. I think I'll leave it, but I'm trying to build these purples into it. Clean up an edge there. But I'm really, really, really loving this way of painting. I'm having a great time doing it this way. There we go. That more vibrant purple in there was totally needed. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up here in a moment. Finish getting ready for work. Well, I am working. And unfortunately, I have a lot of heavy lifting to do at work today because that's basically my job is stacking shit. Because I work dairy, so dairy department at Aurelius. So wow, that's a really bright pink. Bet this is going to be nuclear. Ooh, that looks really good though. Just throw a couple hints of this in there. I like that. And we'll just leave a touch of it. Perfect. Just that little bit. And over here, going to use a little bit more of this pinky tone to make this orange and these purples kind of flow into each other. There we go. That helps that blue and that orange live with each other a little bit better. Transition into each other, make a little bit more sense. Just building color harmony. This whole thing is just nothing but a big excuse to get pornorific with a bunch of beautiful color. It's very appropriate. I really needed to add these purples and pinks into this transition. It's totally missing from my initial lay-in here. That helps make this make a whole lot more sense. There we go. That's a lot better. I like this a lot more. All right. I might throw a little bit of bright red over here, actually. Just like right through here. There's this real heavy bright area in the clouds over here that I want to kind of capture. It's subtle. It's right through where this orange transitions into these purples. Kind of a glow, really. There we go. It's kind of nice. Skeleton needed some pure yellow in here. There we go. Just helps capture this intensity of the sky a little bit more. I'm getting a little dulcet toned, sorry. Thinking. Well, holy shit, it's coming together and it's looking pretty okay. I'm liking it. We got quite a bit further on the sky. This mountain is now starting to look messy. It's definitely something I'm going to have to spend a lot of time refining as this. I just kind of really roughly laid out some of the flow and where the shadows are going to be. I don't want to get overly detailed with it. That's not the point of this at all. In fact, I mean, I'm generally a detail-orientated painter, but not. The older I get, the more I would rather just play around with color and be more detail-orientated in that sense than sit here and pick at every little piece of grass or every little I don't know what I'm going to do over here. I'm making all this up, so can't really go too wrong with it. I like this little quieter color coming through here. I like this working into a muddy looking underpainting. It really helps these colors look a lot better. And I'm probably not going to come in here and over molest this too much. I really don't want to lose the expressiveness of my strokes at all. Like I really don't. Like that would be a shame. So I'll come over and like pick out some things. So cite some areas. Just a little bit. Alrighty. I have to clean up my my painting surface and cover everything, and I have to be out here in 8 minutes. So we will call it a stream, and yeah, I really hope the audio recorded. So let's see how far we went. Hour and 11. That's a pretty short stream for me. I intended to get on here an hour earlier, but I was wrestling with some technical stuff, trying to figure it out. And I finally just said F it and decided to jump in. So I'll fix that. I'll figure that out. I'm still so new to this. So in either case, if you've made it this far, thank you very much. And if you like what I do, then like, sub, and, comment if you have anything to say. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be back at this again later. Probably not tonight. Today is a load day, so I'm going to have to move a few tons of freight today. Not looking forward to it. But it's my last hard day of the week, so. All right. And then this weekend, we're gonna rock out and get a lot more colored mud laid down. And in fact, this weekend, I'm gonna make some more surfaces. I have a couple rolls of canvas out in the garage, and I've been pretty pumped to make some stretcher bars and put those together and make some big canvases. But I think actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut back on that a little bit and on that idea. And I think what I'm actually going to do is build some masonite boards this weekend and structurally reinforce them, because this one isn't reinforced. It's just a raw piece of masonite. I need to start framing these in. Make it a little bit more rigid. It makes it a lot easier to work on. And it protects the edges. I've already smashed one edge on this and had to rebuild it right here. I totally fucked this thing up really bad. So it took me a couple hours of work to repair that. So it was a mistake working on this rod, but I just wanted to work on something. So I just grabbed it out one night and yeah. All right, guys. You will see me again when you see me again. I'm going to cover this up and call it a stream. I wish you all a beautiful day. Make a beautiful day. Beautiful days are made. They don't just happen. So, bye-bye. Catch you on the next one.